Pablo Escobar, rise and fall of the king of cocaine. In the mountains of Colombia, a name was born that would one day echo across every border, every headline, every whispered story of fear. Pablo Emilio Escobar Gaviria. To some, he was a Robin Hood. To others, the devil himself. He built an empire on cocaine and ruled it like a king of death and gold. This is not just the story of a criminal. It is the story of how one man from nothing rose to control an entire nation, and how his greed brought the world to its knees. Pablo was born in 1949 in a small Colombian town called Rio Negro. As a teenager, he sold stolen tombstones and fake diplomas. He smuggled electronics, stole cars, and even kidnapped for ransom. Money wasn't just a goal, it was his obsession. And in the 1970s, he found the perfect product to feed that obsession. Not gold, not oil, but a white powder that would poison the world: cocaine. Escobar gathered smugglers, pilots, and killers, and built the Medallin cartel hidden in the jungles of Colombia. Secret labs turned coca leaves into cocaine. Private planes carried it across the Caribbean, landing in the night skies of Miami. Within years, Escobar's empire was unstoppable. He smuggled 15 tons of cocaine every day. His net worth exploded past $30 billion, more than some nations. Every week, he earned over $400 million. He owned private jets, mansions, islands, and even his own zoo filled with hippos and exotic animals. But behind the luxury was blood. Every brick of cocaine was built on fear, murder, and corruption. In Medellin, Escobar became both a hero and a monster. He built houses for the poor. He funded hospitals, schools, and soccer teams. Children adored him. Families worshipped him. To them, he was a savior who gave them food the government never did. But Escobar's charity came with a price: loyalty or death. His rule was simple: plata o plomo, silver or lead. Take his money or take his bullet. He bought politicians, police, judges, even generals. Those who couldn't be bought were buried. Under his shadow, Colombia trembled. By the late 1980s, Escobar was no longer just a criminal, he was a terrorist. He ordered the assassination of presidential candidates. He bombed the Avianca Flight 203, killing 107 innocent people just to kill one life. He planted car bombs, murdered journalists, and turned Medellin into a war zone. The U.S. government had seen enough. The DEA, CIA, and Colombian military joined forces. A mission began, codenamed Search Block. Their goal: find Escobar, end his empire. What followed was a cat and mouse game that shook the world. So in 1991, Escobar made a deal that stunned the world. He surrendered, but on his own terms. He promised to stop violence if he could serve his time in a prison of his choice. And so he built it himself. He called it La Catedral, the cathedral. But this was no prison. It was a palace with a bar, gym, jacuzzi, and soccer field. Escobar continued running his cartel from inside its walls. He laughed at justice. He threw parties, drank whiskey, and made deals with killers, all while supposedly in prison. But when the Colombian government realized his deception, they tried to move him. That's when Escobar vanished. Again. For 16 long months, Pablo Escobar became a ghost. He hid in safe houses, switched hideouts every night, and used radio calls to guide his men. But every call was a risk, and one call changed everything. On December 2nd, 1993, a call was traced to a small house in Medellin. Colombian special forces surrounded the building, with U.S. intelligence guiding them from the sky. Escobar tried to escape, climbing onto the roof, firing his gun, but his empire had finally collapsed. A bullet struck him down, the most powerful drug lord in history, dead on a rooftop, barefoot, just 44 years old. So when news of his death broke, thousands flooded the streets of Medellin. Some cried, some celebrated, some just watched in silence, unsure if the nightmare was truly over. But the truth is this: Pablo Escobar was not a legend. He was a warning. He showed the world what happens when greed becomes God, when power replaces humanity. When one man believes he can rule through terror, his fortune is gone. His empire, Dustur and Chustur, his name, Corbeatan, forever stained in history. Pablo Escobar built a kingdom of cocaine, rain, but it was a kingdom of blood. And like every empire built on fear, it ended exactly as it began. Ejam, violent.